Hi everyone, it's Mika. Today I'm going to talk about my nebulous journey into the tech world. When I first started, I was a Kleiner Perkins Fellow, was a PM in numerous startups, was lucky to get a chance to work at LinkedIn as a product manager, and now going through the throes of startup life in Silicon Valley. But I came from relatively modest beginnings. I was born and raised in the Philippines, studied in a liberal arts school, didn't study computer science, didn't come from a tech feeder school, and was an international student dealing with a lot of visa challenges and situations. I want to show you that it's possible to get into the tech world, and I hope my story resonates to inform your story as well. All right, first, some background. Who is Mikareyes? No, I am not the famous Filipino volleyball player, unfortunately.
Mikareyes again! What a set and what a finish!
I'm Mikareyes, I'm Filipino, I'm a woman of color, and yes, a woman of color trying to get into a predominantly male industry. I studied at Wesley University, liberal arts, non-Ivy League, non-tech feeder school. I was not a STEM or computer science major. I studied economics and psychology. I was applying to jobs from the East Coast all the way over to the West Coast. I had no prior network in the tech world. And lastly, I was an international student and hence needed sponsorship for my visa. Okay, now that list is not meant to be a pity story. It's meant to preface that if you fall under one or maybe all of those categories, you can absolutely land a job in Silicon Valley or in product management. But let's be real, you will fail, you will get rejected a lot. But you're gonna land the job offer of your dreams, and it'll be a glorious start to your tech career in Silicon Valley. Part 2, my outreach strategy. How did I create my network in tech? When I was first starting, I reached out to about 500 people in tech, and these were a mix of designers, engineers, product managers. I wanted to get to know what it was like being in Silicon Valley, working in the tech world, and exactly what these folks did in their day-to-day jobs. Next natural question is, how did I get all those emails? I got creative. I pulled out an Excel spreadsheet and I had 4 basic columns. I put in a person's first name, a person's last name, the @ symbol, and the company website. And from those 4 variables, I was then able to create formulas and aggregate the names in ways that typical email addresses worked out. So for example, I got a person's first name, last name, @ email. Simple. I also took a person's first letter of their first name, their last name, @ email. I sometimes got the person's first 2 letters of their first name, their last name, or their first name only. Basically, different combinations of what made sense in an email address. I then had a whole column of emails that I had guessed and mail merged the out of it. What mail merge does is it lets me add in different variables, such as the email, such as their first name, all into one email and automates the sends for everyone. The value of this is 1, saves me a lot of time sending emails to 500 or so people, but also 2, it makes the email a little bit more personalized. So I can put in someone's first name as the header and other variables like their company and their role. So when they received it, it seemed like they got a personalized message. What are the elements of a good email? 1, a way to personalize or connect with the person that you're emailing. 2, the reason why they can be extremely helpful for your needs. And 3, the ask. For all of these, 1, the shorter the better, and 2, the more specific the better. I want to caveat that the best way to reach out to people and learn more about what they're doing is through warm leads. So to the extent that you can get intros from your friends or other folks, the better. But because I didn't have a network that was well networked in the tech network, I resorted to this and it suited me well for my needs. Part 3. What did I talk about when people said, yes, I'm happy to have a 30-minute phone call with you? I bucket my conversations into 3 parts. 1, talk about the story. Make sure to ask about their story. Be curious, be genuine. Learn more about them. And at the same time, after that, talk about your story. What is your hustle journey? Who are you beyond what's seen on your LinkedIn or your resume? 2, there's a whole bucket of questions that will depend per person and per situation. But basically, these are all the questions that you think could be helpful in your conversation with them. So this can be, what resources are most helpful? What is the company culture like? What is it like being a product manager, an engineer, a designer? And lastly, the ask. There are basically 2 types of asks that I tried. 1 was a direct referral. Sometimes they will get ahead of me and they'll already say, hey, I'm happy to offer you a referral, which is great. But if not, still don't be afraid to ask it. For the most part, they might say yes, and the worst thing that can happen is they say no. 2nd, maybe that's not exactly what you want from this specific person. For example, I talked to certain engineers and companies I was interested in, and I really wanted to learn more about the product manager side. So I sometimes ask these folks, hey, can you introduce me to a product manager? And that way I was able to get more information about the role, about the company, about the culture through the lens of a product manager and see if it was a good fit for me to even apply. Now you may be wondering at this point, why I took so much effort to reach out to 500 people, to try to talk to these folks, to get a lot of rejections, only to get a referral. From my many years of recruiting and also working at LinkedIn, the best way to get a job is through the network. And applying into the ether of job applications is only going to get you so far. This was a better way for me to get into the network of tech and find the job that I wanted in the company that was a right fit for me. Highly recommend. That said, despite this strategy, it's still rife with a lot of rejections. For example, here is a sampling of my rejection emails. There's a lot. Yeah. Why am I telling you this? While it is a proven strategy to try to create a network, reach out to a network, and then get your job, it's gonna be a really challenging one. But don't give up. It's doable. And I hope my story is a testament to that. Ultimately, all you need is one yes. That one yes for me was through the Kleiner Perkins Fellowship under their portfolio company, Ripcord. I'm here to tell you that it's possible to find that one, and hopefully you'll find even more. I hope this was helpful. I'm happy to answer any of your questions. Just reach out in my About page. You can find my email address. Tune in next time. Bye! Yes, the Filipina hubs from the West Coast, East Coast. And you're gonna have to work, helpful, and fortunate to be a Kleiner Perkins fellow.